Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video about this content creator's video, Vince Deo. This is his channel right here. He's very good at what he does, so I highly recommend watching him. Every time I've been watching him, he's always giving me the truth, you know what I mean? Like, everything he's very based, in my opinion. As you all might realize, I'm a patriot, like, through and through to the core. I believe in I believe in America, and I do believe that we are in a civil war. Right now, it's for the hearts and minds. Remember that 90% of a war is for hearts and minds, okay? And I think somebody has to speak up at this point against all these content creators, has been gold, um, Jeremy from the quartering, who are coming out preaching and running their mouths. And I mean, Jeremy from the quartering didn't do it as bad, but his whole nonsense in the beginning, like of his shtick, where he's like, "Oh, say about multiple mags. What does that say? We gotta obey the Second Amendment." Blah 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 blah. Dude, uh, it goes to intent. Okay, if if you're just carrying your weapon around to defend yourself, you don't need a whole bunch of extra magazines. Either way, none of that matters because this Preddy dude was breaking the law the moment he stepped out onto the street with a gun on him. At the moment he decided to go to a riot, because that's what it is, a riot, okay? I mean, these people are pulling people over. They're not even ICE. They're just innocent reporters, or they're just innocent people that live in the Minnesota area. And I do not believe these people are all paid protesters. They're out there trying to get these kind of clips to divide the right, and especially the independents, because the independents in our country sadly have been very weak. We know what they're doing. We see what they're doing. All this shit. I mean, they just bit some dude's finger off the other day. They bit his fucking finger off. These are not. Jesus God. We can't. Look, when you get into a war, when you're in a war, when you're against an enemy, you cannot stop every 5 seconds to analyze the actions of both sides, okay? And then demonize your own guys. You can't do that. And this is a war, whether you want to admit it or not, it is. Right now, it's a propaganda stage, okay? They're trying to get you to side with them, to fight against America. This is a full-blown attempt, as the Signal app shows, okay? Their Signal app has been, it's already come out, and I'll see about posting some content at the end of the video where it shows, all the discoveries they just made about the Signal app, where state and local agencies are involved in this, giving out license plate information. The cops, this idiot right here, he's involved in it. You know what I mean? Like, these people, now they're being outed, okay? But even before that, I'm talking about before any of this happened. All the people that were running their mouths, they're playing armchair general, armchair police officer, armchair whatever. I've seen even dumbass videos where this dude's like, "I can tell by their body language." Man, shut the fuck up. No, you can't. You just want to get headlines. You want to make money. That's what you want to do. You want to put out these videos. You should have just shut the fuck up and waited until the information came out if you weren't sure, if this bothered you. And this goes to Asmongold too, by the way. He's up there. I was watching this video the other day, and I'm unsubbing from all these people. I don't care, dude. You cannot have fence sitters in this kind of situation. He said it himself, Asmongold himself. These people are insurrectionists. They're enemies of America. Okay? Yet ICE agents are scared to be shot after having their fingers. I mean, has everybody forgotten about Charlie fucking Kirk? Everybody just forgot about Charlie Kirk when it mattered, right? Everybody's out there, "Oh, we'll never forget how lefties laughed in their faces and blah, blah, blah." And then as soon as something like this happens, what's the first fucking thing they do? They shit on the agents. "Oh, it was unjustified." Dude, shut the fuck up. You don't know that. You don't know that. Why did you make that video? Oh, to get headlines, to make money. So shut up. Maybe not in the Asmongold situation. I don't know what he thinks he is. Again, all these people that do this, the majority of them consider themselves fence sitters, okay? They're in the middle. So that somehow gives them the unique authority to judge these situations over top of, say, what they say, the right and the left. Well, the way I look at it, the right is fighting to save America. The left are our avowed enemies. They say it in videos. Look, this is not hidden. And I know, I'm excited because I'm tired of this shit. We all should be tired of it by now, right? I mean, Jesus, we know they lie. The politicians get up and they lie, okay? I don't want to hear about how we should have faith in this or think that or Second Amendment. I've had arguments with Second Amendment absolutists about these morons in Philadelphia, right? These what do they call them? Black Panthers. That these Black Panthers are coming out, and there was this guy that was leaning against a pole, okay, and he has a mask on and he's got a rifle. Now he's with the Black Panther Party, who had literally just before that the same place said they're gonna blow holes in ice. And I'm like, guys, stop supporting this dude. You don't even know who he is. That was my entire argument. You have no idea who this guy is. And then the dude that I'm arguing with, he's like, he doesn't even realize it, but he's proving my point because he's like, you don't know that for sure. And I'm like, yeah, you don't either. I mean, I do know it for sure, by the way. I have video. I'd already seen a video of it, of his leader doing that. I knew in context. I knew everything that was going on. He had no idea. But these Second Amendment absolutists, as soon as they see, oh, he had a gun, oh, we got to protect our Second Amendment. Dude, shut the fuck up. It has nothing to do with that, okay? Get with reality. Join us here in the future. And yeah, I'm going to piss people off. I'm sorry, guys. For all of you out there that are my friends, most of you agree with me. There's some of you that don't. I know. Some of you are like commies. I mean, those would be former friends, by the way. But I'm not doing this anymore. Look, this is America. This is my nation. This is your nation. We live here in America. We have nowhere else to go. This is our country, okay? These people are trying to undermine it and destroy it. You're either with us or you're against us. And I know it sucks to be put in that position. Well, welcome to being a fucking... to join in the military. Welcome to having to go out and protect idiots in this country who shit on you, who do the same, who risk your life. I mean, these are the same people who would get soldiers killed, okay, if they saw videos every time something happened. Because you know what? In a split-second reaction, it's, again, the name, what I just said, a split-second reaction is literally a split-second reaction, okay? You have a second to think. Is this guy going to shoot me or not? People play video games entirely too much because for some reason they think that these guys have fucking respawns. They do not. They don't have respawns. If they make one mistake, their life is over. Their family loses their father. Okay, their wife loses her husband. I mean, I don't... It's very irritating to watch this stuff, okay? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing it, and I'm tired of these weak-spined people that claim that they're on our side, but every time they get a chance, they call out the bullshit. And then they say, oh, well, I'm just trying to be, keep it real. No, you're not, dude. You're trying to make headlines. Stop it. Okay, stop it. We're beyond the point to where we need to debate. There shouldn't be any debate over this. If there was a video that came out tomorrow of agents lining people up and shooting them, I wouldn't get excited over it. I wouldn't. Because I don't know what's going on, for one, until I find out from the officials and the videos that are there. Because thanks to Demonrats, right? Now we have plenty of that. Video and context. But we can all see with our own two eyes on these videos. And then idiots like this dude right here, they're like, well, you could see on the video, it's pretty clear. No, that's what you think. That's what you see. It turns out this fool had a mag. He grabbed a mag and he had it in his hand. And if you ever held a mag in your hand, from the bottom, it looks like you're holding a gun. Okay? They had, either way, even if it didn't look like that, who gives a fuck? They knew it was on his back. They knew where it was. It doesn't matter if the gun was off him or not. He risked his life as soon as he put that... look, at home when he was getting dressed, right? Deciding on his goofy outfit for that day. That was very tactical, by the way. I think he was trying to look like Ice. As soon as he decided to put his gun on his waistband, he killed himself. He killed himself. Because legally, he shouldn't have been there with a weapon. Okay? At protester rights. Minnesota law. That's what the Democrats want. You're not allowed to be there with a firearm. Okay? So this guy had already made his decision. Turns out that later on, a whole lot more was discovered about this guy, by the way. Like, for one, Preddy is on that Signal Chat app where they're, like, literally they have, it's like a state agency. You put in license plates, you pull people over. What gives these people the right to think that they can pull people over? What gives them the right? This dude, before he got in this altercation, he was trying to direct traffic. Who the fuck does he think he is? Who's the authoritarians here? Who are the bad guys? These people want to run the state. They want to run the nation. They want the power. They don't even wait for the war to be won before they're out there trying to assert their authoritativeness. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear it anymore. Miss me with that bullshit, bro. I mean, it's time for us Americans to choose a side. You cannot fence it when your country is at risk, okay? You cannot nitpick every little thing from slow-mo cap, okay? And, come out here and shit on your side just because you want to look like you're, I'm reasonable. Well, dude, I'm cool with people being unreasonable when they're trying to save their life. I'm just saying. And I'll tell you right now, if somebody came up trying to kill me, I don't care what anybody says. I would mag dump them. Because it's my life and I get no do-overs. I get no respawns. And if you think any other way, you're going to be a victim. And I'm not telling people to go do anything like that. Don't take my words out of context. What I'm telling you is this has to stop. We have to stop nitpicking ourselves, okay? We have to stop letting the left, who we know are liars, deceivers, and worse, okay, that they make this, they literally fake this shit. What about that Somali woman that came up and lied her ass off? Turned out everything she said was a lie. And need I remind everybody again about Charlie Kirk? I mean, because everybody seems to have forgotten about him in their rush to judge everybody, and to do their what is it, body, this one idiot's video where he's like, oh, I can tell by their body stance. Man, shut up. No, you can't. Oh, I'm an expert. Shut up. Dude, you belong on the other side. You sound like one of them. I mean, seriously, I'm not. I know I'm angry right now for one, and I feel like I got 100,000 I told you so's because I've been dealing with this for the last couple of days now. People just defending Preddy, they got candles and vigils up. Did they do any of that for Charlie Kirk? No, they laughed in our fucking faces, guys. They laughed in our faces. Every time you do what you're doing, okay, not you specifically, I'm talking about these people that are doing it. Every time they do this shit, they laugh at us. They've won. They did what they meant to do. They've warped your mind. They got you to agree with them. You know what? They'll cut that segment out and they'll use it for 1,000,000 years to get to brainwash other idiots. So look, Jeremy from the Quartering, I like your work, bro. I do. But fucking stop, dude. Stop with the whole mag dump preaching. I'm sorry, the magazine. Well, it doesn't matter how many magazines. Yes, it goes to intent. Stop. Just stop, okay? Asmongold. Like, oh, this looks so bad. Just stop. Dude, you're rocking back and forth and you're taking the rest of the nation with you. You have a large viewer base. Stop. You're not helping. You're creating chaos. All right, let's get into this. I need to... Man, sorry. I'm going to settle down, I swear. I'm sorry. I'm just tired of this, man. I know what situations... I know what these... Well, I don't know because I'm not there, but... I can imagine what these agents are going through, okay? You're talking about ICE didn't just appear. Trump didn't just appoint them. They've been doing this. I mean, hell, Obama deported more people than Trump did it, and it went pretty fucking smoothly, didn't it? But for some reason, just because Trump's in office, like, everybody acts like a freaking retard. All of a sudden, everybody's, like, losing their fucking minds. And I'm tired of it, man. And I sit back and I watch these videos all day. Every day, I'm disabled, sorry. And I keep thinking to myself, how can I help? Because one of the comments I always put out on videos is like, or like posting on comments and stuff like that, is go and protest. Get active. We need to do more. And now, with all this shit, I don't blame you guys for not doing it because it would just set you up anyway. And then the idiots on our side would nitpick everything about it, even if you were shot, and then forget about you a week later. You know what I mean? That's the way it seems to me right now. So anyway, let's get into this video.
There is an investigation that ultimately proves that at the time of the shooting, it was legally justified. I don't think that even matters at this point because there is so much outrage and concern around what is happening in the city.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Look, he's telling you himself. It doesn't matter. Like, if it was legitimate, it doesn't matter. Okay? Just want to be clear.
What do you mean it doesn't matter at this point? You mean the situation on the ground is already, the impression is left?
People have had enough.
So before communists proceed to burn down the entire city of Minneapolis, although I don't think the context actually really does matter to them, I do want to revisit the original ICE-involved shooting that caused all of this outrage to begin with, because we did just get a brand new video angle of the situation that vindicates everything we were saying from the beginning. So just to briefly recap on that, what we knew as of yesterday was that a leftist agitator labeling himself one of these ICE legal observers decided to attend an anti-ICE protest carrying a loaded 9mm handgun. Now, he got in a situation where he approached ICE agents, got into this physical scuffle with them.
By the way, just real quick, this dude supposedly is not resisting. Okay, yeah, that totally looks like he's not fucking resisting. By the way.
He was essentially resisting arrest. And then, according to the Border Patrol agents, he was acting with the weapon in a threatening enough manner to where they decided they had to take shots in their own self-defense. Now, left-wingers tried to say, oh, that's not true. He never reached for the gun. He had his hands up. You shot him for no reason. And granted, the video was quite blurry at the time, but my instinct was to go with the witnesses on the ground who were actually in that position. But now...
By the way, I just think this needs to be said. I don't want to get famous. I don't want no money. I don't want people's money. I'm only doing this because I love America, and I know that we're at war right now. And this is a propaganda phase of that war. They're trying to get people to support them from our side, too. And so far, to them, from their viewpoint, they're kind of winning. Right? Because we got our own people, supposedly our own people or whatever, fence sitters, all these other liberals. The independents, sorry, I don't, whatever about them. They're just like leaves in the wind, go wherever they go. So I have no reason to be doing this. Matter of fact, I don't want money. I don't want anything like that. The only thing I want is to speak as an American. I mean, I have a right to say my opinion just like you do, and I think for my right, okay, because I am disabled, like I said, and I couldn't have the life that I have right now. I'm not saying I'm living like a king, because I'm not, okay? I'm not, trust me. But, I don't know. I feel like it's incumbent upon me to do something, right? Because, I mean, everybody gets away from the point that the thing that happened here. They're in Minnesota because of the fraud, because the American taxpayer has been taken advantage of. All right, they've stolen billions of dollars. I don't even think many of us can imagine that kind of money. We've probably never seen that kind of money in our life. No, I guarantee you 99% of you have never seen that kind of money in your life. And these Somali have been carrying bags of it back to their terrorist groups back in Somaliland, back in their pig pen. So, and anybody gets upset, I don't care, okay? I don't care. I do not like Somalis. It's like almost 90% of them, okay, are committing crime. That is a message, okay? That's a message to you that they're not here to become Americans. I mean, whenever you see them, are they, yay, America? No, they're not. No, they're not. They're shitting on America. They're trying to victimize. They're trying to parasite off of people. Like, they with their own words, they're showing us why they're here. And for me, they need to all go. Every one of them. I don't care. I don't care if they were involved in it or not. I guarantee you they were involved in it. They just weren't caught. Okay? So, sorry, my mic is cracking, by the way.
Now, finally, we did get a video that does clearly show, while the whole scuffle is going on, that he does indeed reach for his holster, pull something out, and in that moment, that's when the ICE agents indeed take their shots, which ought to be a case closed situation for me. Okay, so they already knew this guy was armed. They were trying to disarm him. Apparently, it appears they did manage to disarm with a...
By the way, right here. You see this? And he's about to show the video, but you see this right here? I just want to make it very clear. That in his hand. It doesn't matter if it's a phone. It doesn't matter if it's girlfriend's panties, okay? He reached in behind him to where his gun was, okay? And he pulls that out. Again, there are no respawns. Do you understand? There are no do-overs. It's in that minute, in that second, you're dead or you're not. And I'm not going to be dead. And I guarantee you these BP guys are thinking the same exact thing. These ICE guys have been threatened so much that, yeah, they're probably on edge. And can you blame them? Can you blame them? And by the way, Trump, what are you doing, bro? I mean, I get it. This is showing everybody just how bad these people are and how bad these enemies are. But, I mean, this could have been dealt with. Like you said, you could just send the military in there, crush this, and it'd be over. Why? Why haven't you done that? This is clearly treason. I mean, the Signal app, I hope at this point, finally we get to a point to where they're going to actually do something about it, right? Because the only thing I want to see is our military go in there and stomp these people in the putty. Okay? lock them up, whatever. I'm not saying like to hurt them. I'm saying, I mean, if they end up hurt, that's on them. I mean, I have about as much compassion for them as they have for Charlie Kirk. As you should have about as much compassion for them as they have for Charlie Kirk. We tried to debate them. We tried to. We sent our best to speak to them. Okay, we did. Sorry if it's echoing. I got to mute that. We sent our best to debate with them. Okay, to speak to them, to try to teach them. To try to deprogram them. And what did they do? They shot him. Okay, talk time is over. They've shown us. They've shown us what their intents are. Whether it's Minnesota or any other state in this in the country, which by the way, every other state doesn't seem to have a problem with this. Only Minnesota. Now I imagine it's going to get larger. There's going to be more people doing this because they're watching this and they're watching them get away with it. They're watching us second guess ourselves, step in our own ICE agents after we're like, "Thank you, ICE, for helping us," and then we turn around and well, his body posture was. Sorry, I keep interrupting, but if I don't, for one, then I'll get, I can't just copyright a video, and I'm not doing that here. I want his video to get out, his message, because this is great. He's right. He's 100% right. So I'll try to keep interruptions to a minimum, but I am very passionate about this. I'm very upset, and I think the message needs to get out there. This is probably going to be a long video because I'm going to be talking about a lot of things through here. I mean, I think that I uniquely can speak from, given my life. I mean, hell, just being raised in Baltimore is big enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, so belt in, and I'm always open to commentary. If you're a Democrat, if you're a Demonrat, I don't care about your opinion. I just want to put that out there and very clear from the gate. I don't care about your opinion if you're a Demonrat, okay? We already tried the discussion phase, and they shot him. The discussion is over. As far as I'm concerned, okay? People can get mad at me. I'm good with that. This is my opinion on it. It's my breakdown. I'm sharing you his content, okay? And I know I keep interrupting, but I hope that you're here as much to hear my opinion as you are to hear his. Like I said, so I'll get back to this. Sorry.
Thought was the gun, but he pulls something out of the holster as well. The accounts appear to be that was his extra magazine, which guess what? In that split second moment, you have no idea, right? Whether or not, hey, that's a gun, is that a weapon? What is no time to discern? This all happening very quickly, which basically goes back to the central point here. Generally speaking, this is not advice just for leftists or just for black people over BLM. It's general law enforcement advice, right? If you're in a situation where they're detaining you or they're arresting you, whatever, it's first of all, not very smart to resist arrest, not something you should do. Secondly, right, when you're making erratic movements, grabbing for your pockets, also not something that should be recommended, and especially if you're in a situation where they know you're carrying a gun and you reach for your holster, disarmed or not, yeah, not a very smart thing to do, and that's a situation where, guess what, right? Guess how this works. When it comes to law enforcement, whether it's police or an ICE agent, understand when you're interacting with them, they have no idea who you are or what your intentions are. You could have full intentions. Oh, I'm going to be peaceful. I'm not planning to do anything with this gun. They don't know that. They can't read your mind. And so, yes, when you're acting in a way that causes them to have reasonable fear for their life, which is the threshold for self-defense, as legally speaking in America, right? That is something that absolutely can happen. So yes, again, this whole situation was preventable. Tim Walz, Democrats, you know how it's preventable? Number one, you shouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah, I actually, this is a good point. I'd like to bring this up. You brought up Tim Walz and the mayor, Jacob Fry and all them. They're traitors. And when Trump brought up about the punishment for treason is death, that's all he was saying, by the way. We need to follow the law. Traitors should be shot. I'm not scared to say it. Trump shouldn't be scared to say it. Our law enforcement should be scared to say it because guess what? That's a law. I don't care if it hasn't been practiced in a long time. We haven't had a civil war in a long time, right? I mean, times change. Right now we have people that are literally trying to destroy our country. What's a good place for them? In a lineup. If they're out there trying to insurrect, if they're out there trying to commit treason, no, they're not trying anything. They're doing it, okay? I mean, these people, like I said, they're pretending to be law enforcement. Now they got that Chaz Chop retarded zone and all this other stuff. They built a whole new autonomous zone. And guess what? Guess what Tim Walz, Tampon Tim did, and Frey? They sent in the National Guard. You think they'd be sending them in to help? Nope. They sent them in to defend the people in the autonomous zone. Guys, this is about... as clear-cut treason as you can get, okay? And I am so tired that we don't. Trump, you say that you're all about enforcing law, then enforce it to the letter. Enforce the law as it's written. Very smart people made that law that way for a reason, okay? You don't want people committing treason. So what's the best way to de-incentivize others from committing treason? Harsh punishment. That's how, okay? And I don't feel bad about it. If they're treasonous, if they're traitors trying to destroy our country, I'm protecting my family and my country and the people I love and the people who make it to where I can have this beautiful life. I don't want this life to end. You know what I mean? And the fact that I get help from people that don't have to help me so I can make it through every day, I want to stand up more. I want to fight for them because they're fighting for me. Sorry about interrupting.
Some crazed left-winger should not, first of all, be approaching law enforcement with a gun for any reason to cause trouble, right? You know, it doesn't seem like a smart thing to do. Then you're going to resist arrest. They know you're armed, you know, in this very moment. Yeah, it's a situation where absolutely something dangerous can happen. It's why you should avoid it. And secondly, even as it pertains to crazy lunatics in the world, let me once again say, Minneapolis police should have been on the scene. If you think the ICE agents, for instance, are too trigger happy, right? Hey, after all, they're not meant to be local police. Their job is immigration enforcement. They're not meant to be dealing with this type of stuff. Then Minneapolis police should be on the ground right there, right? But they don't do any of these things. And then this guy reaches for his holster, and apparently it's fascism, and, you know, they just murdered him for no reason when they opened fire. You know how this stuff goes. Anyways, guys, we'll react to this video here today, but I do also want to showcase to you maybe the admission of truth on this entire matter, because we do have the Minneapolis police chief basically admitting out loud today on Face the Nation that in the end, it doesn't really matter what the facts are. It doesn't matter what the investigation says. People are angry, right? Essentially saying, right, we don't care. We're going to go commit violence against ICE and then justify it either way, because after all, we're Democrats, and that's what our political party is all about, you know? Domestic terrorism and justifying domestic terrorism. So anyways, let's get into all of this, guys. First, though, do us a favor. If you enjoy our content, make sure you hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you were.
These politicians, Demonrat politicians, especially all the state ones should all go to prison, because after the drop of this Signal Chat app, yeah, they should all go to prison. Every one of them. Treason, if not be charged and convicted of treason, because that is exactly what they're doing. Okay, they're trying to stop police officers from doing their job to protect us. Okay, I know it's ICE. ICE are police. I mean, a lot of these guys are veterans on top of it. I don't know if y'all realize that, but many Border Patrol and ICE are vets. You know, so likely been in combat. So we don't need people like, you know, armchair generaling them. I mean, they've seen way more than likely you've ever seen in your life, even playing video games, which is a terrible way to come from. But all right.
We greatly appreciate the support, but it also ensures that you can stay up to date with all of the latest news and coverage. And that said, as you can see right here, this new stabilized video of the shooting of Alex Pretty, the guy who was involved yesterday, appears to confirm that while Border Patrol disarmed him, which is what leftists were saying, hey, they managed to grab the gun, so what did they shoot him for? He still reaches for his holster area and pulls out what appears to be the secondary magazine he had brought with him. Take a look for yourself. Warning, viewer discretion is advised. The content you're about to see is graphic to some audiences.
Love the fact that Demonrats made us, you know, start using body cams and people filming. Like, keep doing it, guys. Keep doing it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so again, now that we have a clearer video of the situation, what does it appear like happened? So ICE agents did manage to disarm him in terms of his first gun, but from their perspective, you have to think about it from there, right? So what they know in this moment is that at least one firearm has already been taken from the suspect, okay? So they know he's armed, and doesn't appear, given his actions right now, he's up to very good. He then proceeds to pull out something else from his waist. It does look like metal, if it's true that it was indeed the magazine here, as this user points out, it can look very similar to a pistol grip, especially in a quick split-second situation. It's a piece of metal. You already know you took one gun off of him already, and he's reaching into his pants. Yes, there's plenty of reasonable suspicion to believe in that very split-second moment where you have to act, because keep in mind, right? Keep in mind, they're all very close to each other. There's not a lot of time to look and see. Okay, by the time that happens, if it was a gun, he easily could have gotten shots off, potentially even several shots off, right? And that's the moment where ICE agents decide to act in that self-defense, okay? Now, some people have tried to come and say, oh, well, they already took the gun off of him, so why would they have reason to believe there's a second gun? Because lots of criminals carry second guns, right? You know, especially if you're...
Yeah, and it's important to know that to realize that this guy, again, he is a criminal, like my opening statement. Even before any of this altercation happened, he was already breaking the law. Okay, Minnesota state law, just by taking a firearm to a protest, not a riot, a protest. Okay, but this was a riot, by the way. So he was already breaking the law. He was already a criminal, and guess what? You're not allowed to carry. You're not allowed, your Second Amendment doesn't cover you in the commission of a crime. So he had already given up his right to say that he was a victim. Okay, he wasn't. He went there for a very specific reason. And what's more, again, in this Signal app thing, he is a soldier. They have emojis or designators that say what these people are. He is labeled as a soldier. Okay, let that sink in. What do you think he was doing? Why do you think that they put him in that position? You think maybe because he was in there running his mouth about having a firearm? You know what I mean? And then he got involved in that shit. Why do you think he went out there trying to look like an ICE officer? I mean, that, in my opinion, that's what he was doing with that gear. I mean, the way he was dressed and all that. And then you'll see here in a minute. I think this video shows it, but he was trying to. Maybe it doesn't. He was trying to direct traffic before that. Like, what gives these people the right to take over law enforcement's role? Who do they think they are? And the law enforcement, Minnesota law enforcement, where in the fuck are they at? I mean, this is insurrection. They have a legal obligation, okay, to enforce the laws of their state. If they're not, then it's an act. The government has a right to come in and enforce those laws. They're not enforcing them, all right?
You're up to no good, you're there to cause crime or some act of domestic terrorism. Yeah, it's very common to have multiple firearms, okay? They already kind of understand you're a dangerous individual when they've recovered the first one, right? So the advice in this moment should be what? I mean, first of all, let's start from the beginning. Don't get yourself here, okay? You know, don't first of all show up trying to agitate ICE officers with guns. Don't resist arrest while you're armed, okay? Because that can go very badly, obviously, you know? You should act careful around law enforcement to begin with, just understanding, hey, we want everyone to be safe. They are armed. They don't trust you. They don't know you. Let's all keep it calm, right? But especially in the case where you're carrying a gun, and all common sense lawful gun owners do know this, yeah, you have to be extra careful. And certainly going to fight, going to resist.
Yeah, listen, what he's talking about is the standards of your Second Amendment rights, okay? When you have when you're given that, they actually you have to have training and stuff like that. So when you're carrying a weapon, you're held to a higher standard of in the legal system, and it's a good reason. You got a weapon, right? And I'm not against the Second Amendment at all, and I do believe they over-regulate in some areas, but in other areas they don't. Like people wearing masks. People wearing masks and carrying firearms. And all the Second Amendment people are the absolutists are going, oh my God, look, dude, why do you need a mask? Okay? I mean, why does ICE need a mask? Because their families are being assaulted. Their families are being threatened. And yes, they're being doxxed. I mean, I don't know. This dude is like, the other day, he's like, oh, his firearm owners are being doxxed. I haven't seen that. Maybe you could show me some evidence of that. I mean, not to this level. I haven't heard of anybody with a Second Amendment, you know, people being tracked back to their home. And then their families, they're getting threats sent to them, death threats, telling them that they're going to kill and do awful things to their family. I mean, yeah, look, man, I'd be on edge too. I mean, in fact, look, I'm going to be straight. The fact that these guys only shot him 7 times is amazing. I'd have mag dumped him. I mean, he brought, again, don't get lost in the weeds, because this is what lefties do. They try to get, oh my God, they took his gun. Who cares? He had a gun, and just like Vince just said, he could have had a second one. All they know is that he pulls something metal out, and then, look, man, there are no respawns. Like I said, why did these Democrats, no, not they don't think, okay? Why do they believe that that our side has to die first before anybody can stop the person that's killing people? That is the silliest idea I've ever heard. They're trying to make you think that way because then you'll be easier to defeat. I mean, look, it's time to stop pretending like these people are fellow countrymen. They're not, okay? They're communists. They're here. Where are they getting the funding for all these Signal app chats and all this stuff where they're breaking in? They're using state agency tech. Where is that all coming from? I mean, for all we know, we haven't gotten all the information. This could be directly funded from China. You know what I mean? Or any other place out there. So, like, we all need to get on the same side here. We are Americans fighting for our American way of life and the only country that we could go to. Do you think you could go, I don't care what color you are, as an American, do you think you could go to Somalia? You think you're going to retreat there? You know what they would do to you there? You know what they're doing to people there right now? Yeah, so this is the last stand, guys. America is the last spot, and trying to hold people to these insane standards that you could never meet yourself. You could never. If you can, then go join ICE. Go join ICE. Help them. Show them how it's done, genius. Show them how it's done. Because obviously you're an expert at it, right? But I don't think you're going to last long. I don't. I think these people are I think it was very smart. They're in a very heated situation. They're wrestling around. This guy clearly was not, he was definitely resisting. He was not just, look, this is what he should have did no matter what. He should have gotten on his knees as soon as it started getting violent. He should have stopped resisting, put his hands on his head and said, officers, I have a weapon. Most of the time, almost all the time, if not all the time, the police would just come up and cuff you, and of course they got to secure the weapon. Look, we're talking about, again, people have been killed. I think people are forgetting this. I mean, there's precedent here. Like, there's already a history to this. People have been killed already, okay? They've been shot. So, I'm talking about conservatives. Democrats have killed conservatives, okay? Charlie Kirk, again, and many others. I mean, and I swear, it just really upsets me to see all these people that are out, boo-hooing about Charlie and saying how much he mattered and all this other stuff. But no, he's forgotten about it in a week. What happened to all that? Did everybody forget how they treated us? What they did to us? Everybody forget the last 4 fucking years, man? If they ever get in power again, understand what's going to happen. And they're not hiding it. They're saying it. Tim Walz is saying this. I'm going to make another video about that because this is outright treason. All right? Saying that no matter what, with the time frame, these people will face justice. He's talking about the people that shot Preddy. I mean, and anybody that shot anybody. So that woman, that dumbass that committed suicide by a cop by trying to hit that dude with a car. Which again, that right there should have told everybody, stop defending these people. Stop trying to throw them under the bus, our agents, as soon as you think they did something wrong or you think you could have done better. Just stop it, please.
Resist getting into this tackling match with law enforcement, yes, that is something that can go very badly. And in this case, it did go very badly, right? That's why you don't get yourself in this situation to begin with. But if that all happens, right, and a law enforcement officer acting in a split second has to act in self-defense, and we now see what was going on from the video, what argument even is there to be made about this? I don't know.
There isn't an argument to be made about this. All there is propaganda and trying to brain rot people, trying to brainwash them, and that's exactly what's going on. They bring up the Second Amendment like they care about it. They do not care about the Second Amendment. They want to take your guns from you, but they use it, okay? They twist the situation and they bend it as quickly as they can. Look, they're desperate to win the midterms. They want us to spend the next, the rest of President Trump's term fighting, what do you call that, impeachments and stuff. Because they're already talking about doing it. And I'm telling all of you Republicans, everybody out there, including independents, even all you independents, gear up to vote against them in the midterms. I don't know what else to say unless you just want to give up America, because that's what it's coming down to. I just want to, again, very clearly, these people are anti-America. Okay, they're attacking America for a very specific reason. This is terrorism right here. I mean, like it or not, this is terrorism. And when they cross that line of terrorism, they are America's enemies. You might not like it. You might not want to accept it. Okay, but you know what? It doesn't matter if you like it or accept it. It does not matter. I mean, just like it doesn't matter if somebody's going to shoot you, whether you like it or accept it then, and you defend yourself. It doesn't matter how you feel. That's why you need to turn that feeling shit off. Turn it off.
Tell me. Anyone want to answer that? Now, a secondary point I've tried to see, and I do want to address this as well from leftists, is a lot of them tried to claim, well, allegedly he did have a lawful permit to carry, so we weren't sure about that yesterday, and that's what they're claiming. So he was
in combat or any kind of situation like that, when you're in a fight, you have to turn your feelings off. Okay, you cannot be a warrior for a cause. You cannot win a fight if you're worried about hurting a person, or if you're worried about offending someone. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I just want to make it very clear. And I'm not telling people to go out and hurt anybody. I mean, for God's sakes, nobody on the right that I know of has done anything like this. So, I mean, J6 was, how many people were getting shot to death then? I mean, how many Charlie Kirks were there back then? You follow me? I mean, it's crazy when it's a right, nothing happens. It's peaceful. I mean, you could say, yeah, sure, that there were people doing violent stuff there that broke the law. I mean, I personally am one of the people that believe that there are FBI agents there. Not just believe, but we have evidence now that there definitely were FBI agents there. They fired a lot of them. But yeah, some of them are still in there. And look, man, I can't control everything. I could just call it as I see it. You know what I mean? That was a very tamper-with situation in J6. Conservatives are not like that. The majority of people I know are conservatives, okay? They're not violent. They don't want to get into a fight unless they have to. At this point, to be honest with you, most conservatives are spineless. And I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry anymore. Most conservatives are spineless because we tolerate this. We tolerate this shit, okay? We allow them to do this. I mean, where's everybody in Minnesota that's a conservative? I mean, I can't imagine the amount of suffering and torture you've went through over there. I get that. But it's kind of your fault for letting it happen. If that happened, look, those idiots in Philly, okay, those Black Panther idiots, if they come into my area, like they're coming into your area, I'd be out. I'd be out there counter-protesting. And if somebody put their hands on me, they better not put their hands on me. Let's put it that way. But, I mean, or came into my house, came into my neighborhood acting like that shit. Look, there's protesting and then there's rioting. They're running around trying to make people suffer with these bullhorns and music and everything. You know what? That's really illegal too. There's noise ordinances and everything else. That's what I'm saying. We need to start enforcing the law as it's written and put our feelings away. It's not right. We do not have a functioning justice system in this country if everybody is going, oh, well, that feels wrong. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Dude, stop. They broke the law, period. Conversation over. And that's to everybody out there that's on my side or, on the conservative side that consider themselves patriots. I'm saying that too because I could give a shit less what Democrats think. And sorry, I said Democrats. Demonrats. I mean, look at that idiot. Don Lemonhead just invaded that church. Why did he need to do that? What did that have anything to do with anything he's talking about? I tell you why he did it, because he's gay and he's black. That's why. I mean, for him, in our religion, as a Christian, which he keeps claiming he is definitely no Christian, okay? This dude is out right now. He wanted to go after that church, and he definitely was involved in it. You can, again, I'm not even... Let's focus on this. I'm sorry. I could go on all day. I got so much to say. I haven't said it. I've been scared to because, I enjoy my private peaceful life. My health is not very good. I don't want to deal with this stuff. And all I'm seeing is conservatives constantly being beat up, jumped, their lives being forfeited. And then everybody comes out and acts like they're, oh my God, this is so bad. And they do nothing. And then they forget about you 5 days later. You know what I mean? When shit like this starts happening, what do you got? You got the same people who said that was horrible what happened, Charlie Kirk and so many others. what was that other guy that just got his pants ripped off and stuff in this riot when he was in Minnesota? All this stuff happens at right. Nobody says a word. It's not just mainstream media, okay? I'm talking about the people on our side too. I mean, they're organized on a Demonrat side. I mean, look at the Signal app. That tells you how organized they are with the government, with state and local government, okay? They're very organized. I think maybe there are people in the federal government too that are on this as well. So anyway, back to it. So, like I said, this for one, I have to say things anyway because otherwise I'm just duping his content, and I'm not trying to do that. So this is just my opinions on it, and this is a very good video to do it on. And if you're hearing clicking, that's me folding my mic up, so me breathing or anything happening in the house isn't going in the video. I'm really like I said, it's the first time really getting in this kind of stuff. Usually I do game content, but again, and I won't keep repeating, I might say it a couple more times, but I really feel like I owe every American, okay, every red-blooded patriotic American, because I wouldn't have any of the stuff. I mean, the medical care I get, I wouldn't have none of it, if it wasn't for the people of this country, the taxpayers. And I am very appreciative of that, to the point to where I'm going to put my own self out there, because people are like, well, what are you doing? I mean, they're kind of right. I was doing a lot before this, but either way, they're kind of right. So now I'm doing something, okay? I'm doing the best that I can do. I'm disabled. I can't do much about it. You know what I mean? So, but to all of you, thank you. Because whether you mean to or not, and I'm not saying it's a great thing, whether you make it possible for somebody like me to just exist. And I mean, because in a lot of the societies, somebody as broken as I am, we wouldn't be alive anymore. I mean, so you guys do what you have to do. Break down, just because I'm disabled doesn't mean that I agree with the fraud or that I support it, or these Somali assholes. I mean, they're getting way more money than anybody like me, a disabled vet. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you how much money I make. It ain't in the millions, it ain't in the billions, but the medical care is not cheap. I know that. I mean, a lot of the medical stuff they're doing with me and stuff like that. So just don't take me the wrong way. I'm mainly doing this, like I said, because I appreciate Americans who are very kind and make it where people like me can exist and live a life and have a life, So to everybody that's with me on this, thank you. I mean, to every American, thank you, regardless, for making it so I can exist, I guess. All right.
Legally carrying, he never touched his weapon, which is what Brian Allen tried to argue yesterday. Clearly he did reach for something. He reached the holster. He grabbed for the holster, right? That's what we're talking about here. But, anyways, that's the argument. He was in his full Second Amendment rights, and hey, right-winger.
He didn't just grab for his holster, by the way. He pulled out a magazine. He had something in his hand. Just saying.
I thought you were supposed to be about the Second Amendment.
Yeah, fucking political. That was murder. An ICU nurse who worked at the VA, who was legally carrying a firearm that was fucking holstered while he was filming, who is now being painted as a domestic...
Joe, what the fuck is this dude doing? What the fuck is this dude doing? Is he, he thinks he's a badass with his pink fucking hat? He's rolling up his arms like, oh, you guys don't know, I'm a break it down now. Dude. These people are so pathetic, man. They're so desperate to look tough on video. In life, this guy's probably a pussy. Oh. I have to cut that. Well, actually, this is going to be for adults, so really, I mean, I can't say anything I want to, obviously, but that is permitted. So, I mean, it's a pussy hat. What do they call it? This right here. That's what they call it anyway. When they make the pink hats and stuff, it's called a pussy hat. But anyway, look at this dude rolling his sleeves up, throwing his jacket this side like, we're going to get into it, boy. Yeah, right, dude. Whatever. You guys keep posing for the cameras and acting like you're hard asses.
terrorist because he took a gun to a protest. But all these 2A motherfuckers a couple years back were screaming Kyle Rittenhouse's name from the goddamn rooftops.
Yeah, they think they're so smart and cool for this, don't they? Well, let me explain something, first of all. Do you know where the Second Amendment part ends? When you're resisting arrest, when you're getting into fights with law enforcement, right? Right-wingers, yes, believe that people should have the right to carry guns. But you know who else obviously should have the right to carry guns? law enforcement themselves. And yes, when you're getting into physical altercations and you're armed, right, with them, as I said, things can go horribly wrong, which is why you shouldn't do that, which is why I discourage that type of behavior. And by the way, it is deeply illegal. So, even if he had a CCW, this is not really what the CCW gives you the right to do. But even then, I'd further like to point out, even if you want to make this case, actually, he was not legally carrying in the state of Minnesota. And we pointed out those details for a couple different reasons, right? First and foremost, as Border Patrol yesterday pointed out, he had no form of identification on him. Minnesota state law requires that if you have a CCW and you're going to carry your gun that day, you have to carry both the ID and the permit for very obvious reasons. And by the way, I'm pretty sure even in constitutional carry states for very common sense law enforcement reasons, you still have to carry a form of ID, right? If you're going to be carrying a gun. Now, here's the thing, because I understand we're going to get some people, oh, well, that's unconstitutional. People are going to say, well, I believe absolutely in the Second Amendment. Okay, that's fine. But here's the argument I'm trying to make. Considering that liberals wrote these gun laws, they advocated so much for them, right? I'm not going to accept them then breaking their own gun laws that they wrote and then coming and crying to us, oh, the Second Amendment, the Second Amendment. You don't understand the Second Amendment, because if you did, you would understand that the fighting law enforcement part is not protected by the Second Amendment. And then secondly, even as it pertains to the state laws of Minnesota, it shouldn't be surprising, honestly. Democrats write them. They celebrate them as, oh, we're a state with common sense gun reform. We're safe. We're not like the crazy Republicans with their open carry, constitutional carry, all those things. And then you go and break your own gun laws, right? Like, no, actually, I think leftists should be held accountable to the very standards they create for society. So if they're going to write those laws and then they're going to break them, and then these people right here are going to come and try to argue he was a law-abiding citizen, he was practicing his First and Second Amendment lawfully, doing nothing wrong. No, we're not going to be rebranding left-wing domestic terrorists as law-abiding citizens, especially considering they weren't.
That's not what they're trying to do. Okay, they're trying to get the Second Amendment people to join their side. They're trying. Look, this is normal Marxist. This is how they start color revolutions. They take the established institutions that are out there, and then they try to turn them against themselves. It's like chaos. First they cause the chaos, and they bring it back together. They try to make themselves look like the uniting force, the saviors or whatever, even though they're not. So this is normal stuff that they do when they're trying to insurrect a country, or when they're trying to tear down its government and do everything that they're doing. So, there ain't really much else to say about that. These people, listen, I guess there is. Stop thinking like these people are fellow Americans, like they're your brothers and your sisters. They might be in this country legally, okay, but they're not your fellow brothers and sisters. If you talk to them with their mask off, you find out what they're really about. And they are definitely not about this country doing well. All right? They were winning before Trump got in. Now they're not. They hate that. And this is what they do. They did this the last time he was in, too. I figured we'd be past this, right? We'd be past our side, coming out and standing up for their side. Like, they will not do that for us. Stop doing it for them. Please, just stop. And this nonsense, oh, I'm independent, that just means you're a coward. And that doesn't give you a unique authority to sit up on a fence and run your mouth about what should or shouldn't. If you're independent, if you're in the middle, then stay out of it. How about that? Stop making videos about it. Be independent. There's an idea. Just saying. Because that's always the first thing that these Demonrats do is they go back, oh, I'm independent. But they're talking like a Democrat. They talk like one. They probably are one. The whole duck saying, right? If it quacks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Aren't even following your laws. Understand? Right? So that's the point I made yesterday about the identification. And by the way, even if he was carrying the permit and the ID, his actions are still not protected by the First Amendment. But I did even see some other people pointing out that Minnesota gun laws specifically, thank you, Tim Walls, hey.
Yeah, check this out. This is a good point. Okay, I didn't see this till I watched this video. That's what I'm saying. He does great content. Again, shout out to Vince Deo. If he ever even sees this. I'm like sub 50 subs. I got 50 subscribers, so I doubt maybe he'll see it, but we'll see. Okay, we'll see. I hope. maybe. Spread this video out, like, and subscribe and all that. I don't know. I would love it if he saw that I was supporting his content. So, yeah. I mean, I think this dude's a great patriot. I mean, and he waited. I mean, maybe he put a video out that I didn't get to see because a certain app is, like, up to their old tricks. I can't say no more than that.
Hey, you guys support these laws, right? State that they block the public carry of guns on state capitol grounds and or political protests, right? So I would assume, by the way, this was a statute made in response to some of the open carry protests by right-wingers.
Bing, bang, boom. Case over. Argument over, right? Argument over. That right there, that laws, the Demonrats' own laws, that man was breaking the law. And guess what? You cannot carry a weapon while committing a crime in this nation, okay? That's how it is. I mean, those are the laws. So, as we saw from the chief of police or whoever that clown is in the beginning, it doesn't matter about the investigation. Well, it matters to all of us sane people. Sure, you commies and dictators, and because Demonrats always project, okay? Everything they're doing, I mean, it's weird. They'll be like, they'll come up to a conservative who's just walking by the store, and they'll run out, and they'll see you standing there. They'll run up and be like, oh, I see you're a thief. I see you're a murderer. I see you're this, blah, 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 and start running their mouth, and then the cops come bursting out of the store. Yo, thief, stop. Hey, he killed someone. That's a Democrat right there. That's today's Democrats. I'm not saying all Demonrats are like that. I'm sorry, Democrats are like that. I'm not saying that at all right? Because a lot of the Democrats got pushed out of the Democrat Party. They got pushed to our side. So, regardless of what they're trying to tell you, the majority of the nation stands with us, all right? Now, independents, they can be a little more flippity because really they would be the more left side Democrats normally, but they got pushed out of their own party by these lunatic commies, and Chi-Com supporters. So, just saying. I mean, that's the truth of it.
That you saw back in, Michigan and Virginia in 2020. And it's like, okay, so Democrats write that. They don't want guns to be seen openly at political protests. There's a situation here where, the gun comes out openly, because whether he was open carrying it or he was fighting law enforcement, that part's not yet clear thus far. But okay, right? At a certain point in this exchange, the gun is publicly seen at a political protest. It does appear that also was against the law that Tim Walz wrote. And then these Democrats, again, not understanding their laws, are trying to lecture us about the Second Amendment. Isn't that very typical? It's the same story on immigration, right? You're violating due process. You're violating the Constitution, immigration laws, this and that. And it's like they don't even understand what they're talking. They don't even know what that means, Same thing with Don Lemon last week trying to explain the First Amendment. These people have no clue, but they act like they're so freaking smart, So let's just make that clear, right? Now, what you saw in this whole thing was not Second Amendment protected behavior, nor was it protected by the liberal gun laws of Minnesota. So, that's how it goes.
It's not a coincidence that these individuals have these masks ready to go. I mean, law enforcement, they'll look into that fully. But again, you have the right to peacefully protest. You do not have the...
Yeah, you know what? That's another thing that I'd like to talk on is this whole mask situation, right? Especially Black Panthers come out, and a lot of the protesters come out with masks on because they're being caught. They're being called out as being paid protesters. All right, they're in other states protesting other things. They're kind of contradictory, really. Is that the Gaston flag up there? Are you fucking kidding me?
Right to put a gun to a federal agent or any law enforcement officer, and if you do, there will be a consequence.
Let's don't freeze frame adjudicate this now. He was there for a reason, and that reason was to impede law enforcement to the point.
What evidence do you have of that?
And here's a good point, Dana, is the fact that...
What evidence do you have of that? That's what she said. Maybe because he was there. I mean, if you look at the video and if you look at the whole video, you can see that he's trying to direct traffic. He has no right to do that. He's not a cop. He's nobody special. Just because he has a CCW doesn't mean he has a right to get out and impede law enforcement and try to stop traffic or try to direct it. And that's what he was doing, obstructing law enforcement. He shouldn't even been in that area. That was a crime scene. That was they were there for going after a pedophile or something like that, another illegal. Look, ICE is only trying to get the worst right now. That doesn't mean that I don't support them taking everybody. Okay, I'm talking about everybody as far as like these the kids that were brought over here, the anchor babies and all this other stuff. They all need to go. Look, we need a breathing period. We need time to digest, to bring the people back. And the best way to do that is to enforce our laws to the letter and to do it strongly, because it sends a message. Look, you come to this country, you're coming over here to R-word our women or to do any of that stuff, and you're going to get the bottom end of a boot. Like in other countries, the way that they look at Americans, you would be astonished how they see us. And it's no, they see us as weak and falling for stupid shit, because they won't fall for that stuff in their country. You go to China and try that shit, good luck. Go almost anywhere in the rest of the world, even in the UK. Look what they're doing over there. Look what happened when the socialists and communists got in control over there. I mean, my God, we should be letting people in from the UK, because they're being oppressed. I mean, they should literally be trying to immigrate to America and putting on there that they're running away from oppression. I mean, because it'd be true. I mean, they're literally, the state government and the federal government are arresting people for posts. It's insane, man. This whole world's going insane, and they've gone insane because we're too understanding over here in the West. Okay, we never go, hey, what's going on in that nation? Like China, they get up and they have slaves, they kill people. You know what I mean? What about Africa? Everybody's so quick. Oh, Africa. Have you ever been to Africa? Have you ever seen what they're doing over there? They're killing white people. Guys, we're not talking about, this isn't challenging. You know what I mean? How can somebody come look at our country and condemn it and say, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, when they're doing far worse than we are? Okay? I'm really sick and tired of that. It's like this double standard shit going on. You know what I mean? They can do it, but we can't. We're bad guys. We stole their land. No, we conquered that land. Get over it. And that happened a long time ago, might I add. And like the Greenland stuff, look, Trump said he needs it for national security. Not just him. This has been on the books for a very long time. All right? He's going to take it so that he can protect not just us, but also these other idiots in these other countries. Okay? Canada, the UK. All of them would benefit from the Golden Dome. Every one of them. It would likely end the threat of nuclear war entirely. Why is that a bad thing? Why is that a bad thing? How much does Trump have to do to be seen as a man that's trying to, spread peace around the world, to stop deaths and all that? I mean, he has no reason to get involved in this stuff in Ukraine, which obviously the European government is trying to keep going. They enjoy this money sink, dumping all this money over there, and people dying and all that. Well, we care about people dying, obviously. I mean, hell, we care so much over here. We got idiots that care about pedophiles dying and stuff like that. Like, why do you care about that? Seriously. We're not talking about, like, good, productive people. We're talking about people who, what pedophiles do. So, I'm look, this isn't for kids, and I never listed out there for that, but that doesn't mean that, you all know what's going on. So,
de-escalation techniques were utilized during this action. Those de-escalation techniques, whether it was physically trying to remove them from that law enforcement scene, that active law enforcement scene in which law enforcement were going after a violent illegal alien, or the use of pepper spray, which is another de-escalation technique. Those techniques did not work. Officers always try to use the minimum amount of force necessary to either effect an arrest.
These whistles, man, they crack me up. Remember, I'm old. I'm like 48, but I remember these retards. They would be out there blowing on their whistle, like the freaks and the retards would do that. Okay. And now you hear freaks and retards blowing their whistles. I think that's like a mating call or something. I don't know. Oh my God. Oh, this is great.
Which in this case was more than likely 18 U.S.C. 111, assault on a federal officer, or
where did he assault?
Yeah, but here's the thing. despite everything that we sat here and tried to
He assaulted. What she was saying was, where was he assaulting? Look, just because you guys, these Demonrats, don't accept what he's doing as assault, as soon as he put his hand on the officer, he was assaulting. As soon as he put his hands on that lady that was on the ground, he was assaulting. Okay, he was breaking the law. So, and when you have a weapon on you, and he should know this if he's a CCW carrier, the standards are much higher for you. Okay, just like police, you can't judge one and not the other.
explain in this video, at the end of the day, liberals, leftists, and Democrats and communists are simply still not going to care. Because the point is what? It's a moment. It's a story.
No, the point, listen, what he's getting at is a very good point, okay? Their whole motivation here is to separate us and have us go after each other, okay? Look, this isn't complicated. Look up color revolutions. I mean, this is all really, you can look at the playbook. It follows the, what is that? The Communist Manifesto almost perfectly. To divide, to separate people. They've already done a good job of that, but then we all started to come back together. They get outraged when they come out with this stuff, and then they have the people on our side that are very weak-willed and not very intelligent, in my opinion, who come out and start defending these people before they even know what's going on. I mean, I knew as soon as I saw it was legit shoot. I don't care if they shot him 7 times. There were 7 officers there, so that means each one of them would have fired once, right? And either way, even if there was only 2 officers there, put yourself in their situation. This literally went down in a second. You see a gun, you see a flash of metal. You know what I mean? Most of you would mag dump them. You'd think you'd be like, oh, shoot him in the leg. No, you wouldn't. You'd be scared for your life. You'd be terrified. Trust me, you would be terrified if somebody was trying to kill you. The only people that really should even be able to speak out to this should be people that have been in combat or have to deal with that kind of stuff every day, because they know. All the other people who sit in their living rooms and, have never even been in a fist fight, you should just stop. Stop trying to judge these situations because you've never been in a situation like that. I mean, that scientifically the mind slows down like in a fear situation like combat and all that. I mean, the research that's went into this is insane. It's really crazy, like how the human brain works. So to them, even though it's a flash, boom, they wouldn't. To them, in their eyesight, it would have been going. Even though it's going slow, their mind is reacting fast. Okay, so they see him as a threat, and it's another I don't know, fairy tale idea that if you shoot somebody one time, they fall over. They don't. Even if you don't head dump, even if you shot them in the head, there's a good chance they're not just going to fall over. Okay, and from their point of view, their lives are at risk. The way I see it is this: if somebody's life is at risk, okay, and you can tell they are, and this guy, they were clearly, their lives are at risk, okay. There should not be any oh, he should have shot once, he should have shot blah blah blah. Shut up. You don't know that. You weren't there. Okay, even watching the video, you can slow it down. You can take hours to break it apart. They couldn't in that situation. They had to do what they had to do to protect their own lives. And this idiotic idea that they have to let some of them be injured or killed or something like that before they defend themselves.
Story of leftists throughout history, by the way, is basically, either staging events themselves or lying blatantly about what happened, spinning into propaganda, right, in order to basically start their left-wing revolution, and that's the same story right now. So, they have no actual interest in whether or not it's true. Hey, if we can sell this idea to people that, these fascist Nazi ICE agents are just murdering U.S. citizens for no reason, then our job is accomplished, and that's going to provoke the exact response we want, which is insurrection, violence, rioting.
Yeah, he's right. He's 100% right about that. That's all they care about doing. Okay, even though this came out, and then hopefully people are going to see that was a justified shoot and what they're trying to do. But regardless, he's right. That's their only intention. It doesn't matter. They don't even care that guy died. Anybody out there putting that's all show. It's all show. Okay, these people sign up knowing the risks. They were on a Signal app where they knew the risks. They were on there to what? To bring down America. I mean, period. And all of you should know that. You should know that well enough. And I'm not saying anybody that I know or that follows me is doing that. I'm just saying all these people I heard, they should know that. This is feeding into their motivations of what they're trying to do to divide our nation. Because sadly, there are people that are very low IQ out there who will not look at this, who won't spend as much time as I am watching these videos from multiple angles. You know what I mean? Like listening to the reports, listen to the man. That's a bad freestyle for him. Sorry. You know, like instead they have a job, a 9 to 5 job. They have kids. You know, everything's chaotic. They're trying to keep up with the news. And it's getting really, you know, it's getting to the point where I think that we're all like fatigued too. We're tired. And I get that. But look, we send soldiers to die every day in other nations, okay, to protect this country. I mean, the least that we can do is man up and fight for them. You know, defend them here at home. Citizens protecting their law officers who are you and me, okay? And I'm not saying they're all right, that police are always right. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, in a lot of ways, you could almost say that I'm not anti-police, okay? But I think some of them do have too much. Like this dude right here. I mean, sure, he's a perfect example of corruption and traitors being in local law enforcement and even federal. We watch on J6 again. How many people were killed? Oh, that's right. It was only a conservatives. It was one conservative, Ashley Babbitt, I believe is her name, right? I mean, why don't they say her name 100 times? Oh, they don't care. You know, again, everybody just forgot about Charlie Kirk. I mean, now we could just judge each other, you know, even though they have shown and said and clearly say all the time that they just want to kill us. You know, we could judge. You think they're doing that? No, they're not. We're doing it to them. Instead, they all walk lockstep. And it's interesting when you look at this Signal app where they're talking about, they're giving out talking points and stuff, okay? And they're, in this, it's like a training thing or something. It's kind of big. I'll see about adding clips of it. I'm probably going to do a video on it anyway because, I mean, it's not really long enough. I'm waiting for more evidence to come out on it and more proof and all that stuff and just more of the readings. I know it's on X, they're putting it out there and stuff. But so I might do a video on it. Right now I'm just doing a video on reactions to this stuff and adding in my 2 cents and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. This really gripped me and it upset me to see, like, I mean, like I said, last night I'm stuck in here, all this storm. You all know the storm that hit us. And I'm stuck in here and I'm watching all these people that claim to be on our side just like stabbing these ICE officers in the back and these agents who have been terrorized, having their fingers bit off, being hit by water bottles that are frozen. I mean, imagine that. Imagine your water bottle frozen solid, okay, and then being hit by that in your head or even your back. I mean, they're trying. It's so dumb. Oh, he didn't have a gun. No, he had a water bottle that was frozen. I would say that risked somebody's life, wouldn't you? That's a weapon that could kill someone. But no, when Demonrats, I'm sorry, they want to justify it. They want to say, oh, well, that wasn't good. Who cares? I mean, at that point, really, to be honest with you, at that point, the officers have every right to defend themselves, just like they're being attacked. Just because they don't have a gun, the people that are out there, which they very likely do, but the people that are protesting and rioting, just because they don't have that, doesn't mean that they don't have something that couldn't kill someone. Okay, they could. And that the officers don't need to defend their lives, because they do. All right? I mean, if you don't believe me, then get hit in the head by a water bottle that's frozen. See how that feels.
More acts of terrorism, et cetera, et cetera. And that's, of course, how these people are, you know? They don't really care to actually listen to the context. And we know that because you heard that admission come pretty openly today from the Minneapolis police chief himself, who says, quote, even if there is investigation that ultimately proves if the shooting was legally justified, I don't think that even matters at this point. Well, why doesn't it matter? By the way, you're a police.
It doesn't matter because they've already achieved their aim. They've already achieved their objective. They've gotten our side to attack each other. You know, to really imagine the message that's being sent to these ICE officers and these agents that are out there risking their lives right now at this point to try to enforce the law, which the Democrats say is so important, right? Imagine them. Imagine it from their standpoint. They're out there protecting people like us. And a lot of people are coming up and telling them, oh, great job, please keep doing it. But then when it matters, okay, when the cards are on the table, what happens? Those same people are stabbing them in the back, you know, criticizing their actions in a desperate moment where they're fighting for their lives. We got to stop doing this, guys. We have to stop doing this. We have to play on the same level as our enemies. And if you don't think they want to kill you, again, look into the Signal app. They want you dead. They want to take over America. They want to turn it into some communist shithole. They want to take the power of America. As you guys saw in Venezuela, America is very powerful. Whoever controls this country controls the world. Okay? We can never again allow them in power. Never. This video is almost done. It's on mine, so sorry. Like I said, I have a lot to say. This is about as long as it's like a almost 20-minute clip or a video. So, all right, here we go.
Police officer, right? It means everything.
From what you have seen in the public space and heard from federal officials, is there any evidence that you know of that Preddy was assaulting the federal officers as the Border Patrol chief claims?
Well, I've seen the videos just as thousands of people around the country have, and the videos speak for themselves. I think it's deeply concerning.
The videos speak for themselves. What does that video say? What does it say? What does it say? I mean, for me, when I look at it, it does speak for itself. It says that they were there trying to stop and interfere with law enforcement, trying to obstruct them, which again is a crime, okay? That's a crime. So they can defend themselves lethally if they have to. The idea that I don't know, you never have the right to go to lethality is stupid. That's stupid. If it comes down, I mean, either you're pro-law or you're not. Either you want the criminals to kill the cops, or you want to back the cops up so they can defend themselves and their families. Because remember, these people have families too. And the only people I've seen being doxxed are ICE agents and stuff like that. That's why they wear those masks. And I'm 100% okay with that. Look, cops are allowed to carry guns that other people aren't able to also. Just because we aren't able to do that, which right now I think that we are. There's a lot of people out there wearing masks. They shouldn't be. Look, when you cover your identity, and we all see this in video games, how do people act in video games when you can't find out who they are? You know what I mean? Like, Arc Raiders is a prime example. Like, if you ever played Arc Raiders, the way these people act in that game, do you think they would act that way in real life? No, they wouldn't. Their identity, they feel like their identity is covered. And then you add mob rule to that. I mean, the next thing you know, you get what you got. And these people like this dude right here, these guys right here, they are our enemies, okay? They say it in the open. If you just listen to what they're saying, they are telling you they don't give a shit what you think. They don't care what the law says, okay? They don't. They're going to take the country. And unless we all come together and realize that these people are our enemies and treat them as such, we are going to lose. I mean, we're really against the clock here, guys. I mean, we have to. You cannot win a war on emotions, okay? You cannot win a war with empathy or sympathy. You have to end the threat. I mean, and again, I'm not calling for any types of violence or anything like that. I'm saying I support Trump 100%. If he decides to send the military in there, you know, and deal with this the way he has to, I'm going to support him because I've seen enough to this point to know that these people are trying to destroy our country and take our lives. You want to fight like they're not? More power to you. I'm not going to get killed. I'm not going to get killed when treating these people like they're like me or you, because they're not, and you know they're not.
Concerning the things that are being said. This is an individual that was a city resident. It appears that he was present exercising his First Amendment rights to record law enforcement activity, and also exercising his
right to obstruct law enforcement while carrying a weapon, breaking Minnesota law. This is a cop, guys. This is a Minnesota. He's the top cop in Minnesota. I mean, have you seen that Ellison idiot, by the way? He's deep involved in this shit too. You know, like, I'm telling you, these people are just amazing. They contradict their own laws, the laws that they put in place.
Second Amendment rights to lawfully be armed in a public space in the city. So I think very obviously there are serious questions that are being raised. And I think the greater issue.
Remember what Vince said, and he showed it to you, okay? In Minnesota law, you're not allowed to carry a weapon to a protest. Period. What is this guy talking about? I mean, he's a cop, and he doesn't know that. He doesn't even know Minnesota law, and he's a top cop.
Even if there is an investigation that ultimately proves that at the time of the shooting it was legally justified, I don't think that even matters at this point because there is so much outrage.
Bingo. They've achieved their end. See? Now he's telling you the mask is off. He's telling you the truth, okay? They've achieved their aims. They've done what they meant to do. They caused chaos. They got people to think that we're treating the ISIS boot on the neck doing it bad, even though they're the ones causing this. They're taking the detainers off of these illegals, okay? I mean, let's break this down for a second. They're taking the detainers off so that ICE has to go out and into public and arrest these people in sometimes bad situations. Which, by the way, everybody, listen, that doesn't like what ICE is doing, they think it's mean. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, seriously, I'm sorry your kid... No, I'm not sorry. Your kids have to see law enforcement go down. You know? Your kids have to see law being followed and enforced. You know, that your feelings don't matter. Again, it always goes back to feelings. It's always about feelings, and it just irritates me. Turn your feelings off. Do you want crime or don't? Or do you want, a law-abiding society? I could tell you when I was like up to the 90s, before I joined the military and all that, this country was completely different. I mean, this kind of shit wouldn't have happened. I mean, sure, it happened. Like I would say with the LA riots and all that, but big surprise there. But mostly, this doesn't happen. We're all used to a very organized society. When I was younger, it's nothing like it is now in this country. Nothing at all. I mean, it was so glorious back then. I remember one of the things that we had to decide with all the time is whether we would buy American products or other products. And I always bought American products because, one, I'm American. I don't care if it was a worse product, but it turns out the American product productions are better. You know what I mean? They're just better. They're flat out better. And you don't have to worry about slaves making them, like from China and stuff, which most people buy. You know, that's why I always bought American too. I always do buy American if I can help it. That's how much I love this country. I love the people in it. You know, there's definitely people I don't love. I hate, and I don't care. People, look, emotions are there for a reason, okay? And again, sure, turn off your emotions, but like hate and stuff like that, those are valid ways to feel. When you're in a war, when you're in a fight for your life, you know what I mean? Anger can carry you through that. You know, hate can carry you through that. I mean, they're there for a reason. Now, empathy, you could say empathy and sympathy, those are for after it's over. You know what I mean? Then you can look back and go, oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. Maybe this could have been done better, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't there, but maybe it could have been done better. You know, that's your opinion. Great. Maybe they need other training or something like that. Great. But you're putting these people in this situation. These idiots right here are causing all this chaos and catastrophe. The people like him who are in this, again, the state and local government are not federal, as far as I know anyway. I haven't seen anything on it. I'm going to be keeping my eyes out for that. They're on a Signal app chat, which is treason. Okay, the things they're doing in there is treason. Period. I mean, think about that. That means if they're found guilty... Yeah, that's another thing. If they're found guilty, because in Minnesota you cannot find a judge that'll even put these people in jail. I mean, that goes for federal, Washington, and all that too. It's the same way, man. I mean, literally, we are in a civil war, whether you realize it or not. There's different forms of law. It's a, like, what do they call it, a two-tier justice system. I mean, there's all of us that are following laws to do everything what we're supposed to, and then there's these freaking commies and all these people who got into our legal system because they imported millions of illegals in the country, and then they put, say, why would they, in Minnesota, hundreds, what is it, 150,000 Somalis were put in there? That's more people than what was in Minnesota originally. Of course they're going to get voted out. And they're corrupt on top of it. You know, they're making money just by keeping a demon rat in charge. Guys, this is all about winning elections and taking power of America. You need to understand what's going on here. What do you think they're going to do to you once they take the country over? I mean, seriously. And by the way, there is no form of this where the country splits down the middle, Minnesota goes, no. You guys are commies, okay? You've given up your American heritage. You know, obviously you want to destroy America, okay? You don't get to keep states. I mean, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like the fact that we conquered this whole landmass and took it as American. You don't have to like that, but those are the facts of life. I don't care that you don't like it. You know what I mean? I'm happy that our ancestors did all that because we wouldn't have this right now. And many more people have been helped by America and because of America's existence than ever the inverse. Okay? America is overtly, overall, a better force and a force for peace. If only Indians own this territory still, for one, they were all warring with each other, killing each other. It's okay if they do it, though. It's not okay if we come in and take it over and, make a peaceful area. No, no, no. No, no, no. And every other country in the world did it too, by the way. But it's okay if they did it because they're black and yellow and, all these other colors and, white people bad. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. White people bad, and anybody that like empathizes with us, that's pro America, that's on America's side. Guess what? Them too. Who cares? So really, at the end of the day, everybody. This is like the night of the long knives in Germany. That's what's going on right now. I mean, look it up if you don't know what that is. It's very interesting to look at the way that these people are acting. We're talking about the side. Governor Tim Walz closed down schools and all that just so their kids would be in these situations because these idiots and these horrible people that have these kids take them to the riots and the protests just so these kids will get hurt so they can bend the narrative, and make you feel bad. They're trying to use your weakness, your sympathy, and your empathy. Okay, stop allowing them to do that. Turn it off. Turn it off.
And concern around what is happening in the city.
What do you mean it doesn't matter at this point? You mean the situation on the ground is already, the impression is left?
People have had enough. This is the third shooting now in less than 3 weeks. The Minneapolis Police Department went the entire year last year recovering about 900 guns from the street, arresting hundreds and hundreds of violent offenders, and we didn't shoot anyone. And now this is the second American citizen that's been killed. It's the third shooting
that these guys have set up. I mean, literally, these guys set up. And plus, by the way, they were law enforcement there. They were doing their job. These idiots aren't doing their job. If they were there to buffer between ICE as they should be, that they should be doing that. ICE, again, Trump didn't make ICE. He didn't just deploy them. Like, they've been there the whole time. What got all these ICE people there and these FBI, it's not just ICE, it's FBI, DHS. I mean, and there's 1,500 troops outside, but I'm running out of faith that Trump is going to have, like, the fortitude to do what needs to be done. Because, I mean, you might, whatever, don't like me, I don't care. At this point, we have to take the gloves off, you know what I mean? If these people want a war, we need to give it to them. Because they're going to beat us, they're going to steal this country away and destroy it just because we're not willing to do what we need to do. Obviously, people are being brain-rotted. Their lies, people hear it and then they believe it. They never bother to look into it. You know what I mean? So somebody that might have been on our side before that works a lot of hours a day, they don't watch the news, they can't keep up with anything. They just see a headline that the mainstream news and politicians put out there, and next thing you know, they're like, oh my God, this is going on in my country. This can't happen. And it moves them to the left. It moves them to the left. Before you know it, you got people that aren't radical over there agreeing with them and supporting them or attacking our guys. They're not voting for them. And, oh, well, these are the reasonable people. Let's vote them in. Yeah, and then once they get into power, look what happens. What happened the last 4 years? The next time they get in power, people are going to get hurt. I'm telling you right now. They've already said that flat out. People are going to go to prison. People are going to get hurt. I mean, you think you're going to let this go? That we're rebuilding America? That we're enforcing the law as they never do? You know what I mean? That we're getting rid of the commies and the traitors and these invading parasites from other countries? No, they're not. So, I mean...
Within 3 weeks, people have been speaking out, saying that this was going to happen again. And I think everyone is kind of waiting...
Anybody with a brain knew it was going to happen again because Tim Walz and the other idiots won't stay off of incitement. They won't stop getting up. I mean, just even after that shooting, got up there and inciting again. I mean, I saw somebody in the comments the other day saying, oh, well, he said peacefully. Look, they're trying to go back to where Trump said peacefully and patriotically. They always cut the rest of it out. Now all of a sudden they want to throw it up. Oh, yeah, he said peacefully and patriotic. This is just like that. No, it's not. He says peacefully a couple times because he wants you to equate it to Trump. You know what I mean? And then go, oh, well, Trump did it too. No, he didn't. He did not. People didn't die there. They weren't out there taking over law enforcement jobs. They weren't doing any of that. So there is no similarity between what happened on January 6th and what they're doing right now in this state. And they desperately want you to think that, so it's okay, so they can do this shit. And why wouldn't Trump? I'll be honest with you straight up. Why wouldn't he let this go on? Okay? For him, I mean, for the most part, for me, it's upsetting me. But for the most part, it's showing everybody what Democrat rule is going to be like. Okay? If you let them win. What's going to happen if we allow them to win the midterms? They're showing you. You know what I mean? That's what Trump's doing. These people are showing you how it's going to be. We're going to have Chaz chop zones everywhere. You're going to have retarded idiots out in the middle of the road stopping traffic, directing them. You're going to have people chasing innocent civilians around and pulling them over because they think they're ICE. Attacking their vehicles. I mean, there's plenty of videos of that. It's freaking terrible, to be honest with you. Reporters just driving around. You know what I mean? Oh, well, your license plate came back. It's for what? 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 Who are you? That's what I'm saying. I am so blessed that I'm not in any of those situations. If anybody tried to do that to me, you might get run over. Just saying.
For folks on both sides to come together.
Just to be clear, you might get run over, like, defensively, me trying to get out of there. Because I'll be shit on if I'm going to risk anybody I care about. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And you shouldn't either. You shouldn't have to overly prove. These people don't do it. You think they're going to, they care about you dying? No. And this guy right now, he's about to tell you, we need to come together and see, this was his entire plan. He's trying to get you, everybody on our side, to go to their side to support what they're doing. Oh, maybe they are cracking down on them too hard. No, they're not. Sorry, but no, this is so stupid. They're not even near to the level to where they need to be. They need to declare this an insurrection, send in the active military, and crush these fools. I just saw National Guard vehicles protecting that stupid autonomous zone that's in Minnesota. This is all united. This is all thing. This is a civil war. That's what they're doing. How many times has Tim Walz come out and said, "Oh, well, we're at war with the government"? Dude, these people are telling you what they're doing. But we all take it like, "Oh, well, he just said that and he didn't." No, he didn't. He's reading off a script, man. And again, Signal app, the Signal chat shows that. Okay, and I thought it was freaking hilarious that one of the guys in there, when they realized it. That this guy got in there and was recording all this stuff. They're like, oh, I got to go because obviously I got to delete stuff. Well, what do you got to delete, homie? Huh? I mean, for one, everybody that's in that Signal Chat app, they're traitors. Every single one of them. And we need to stop. I get it. We only have so big a prisons. Well, let's make some more. Let's make some more. Because every one of these people cannot be left to function in American society. Okay, and some of them we can't just strip their citizenship away, even though I really think we should be able to. I mean, if somebody's out there doing this kind of shit, then they shouldn't be in the country in the first place. They shouldn't have American citizenship because they're enemies of America. Okay, it's not just we the people. Remember, we voted in Trump to do exactly what he's doing. You cannot back off. You cannot stop supporting him just because you think he might be doing a little bit. No, he's not doing it hard enough. He's not going in hard enough. If he did, it would be over. He said it himself. Like that, it would be over. Well, then let's end it. Because right now, man, I don't know. I just don't get it. Either you're pro-America or you're not. Stop riding the fence, man. That doesn't make you a better person. That doesn't make you like, I don't know, like both parties. Dude, both parties are not doing anything like this. Let's have some examples. I've already been using J6 more than a few times. And that's what the radical left wants you to think is, oh, this is similar to J. No, it's nothing like J6. How many buildings got burnt down on J6? And how many people died? Oh, the people that were there. Ashley Babbitt, that's right. Oops. So it's nothing like J6. Stop comparing it to that shit. These are buzzwords, okay? In your brain, it's like that's why they have the notes into saying this stuff, okay? It's like a psyop. I wouldn't be surprised here if the CIA was involved in this because they're using, again, color revolutionary ways and Marxism ways to do this stuff. If they say it over and over again enough, even if you're trying to resist it, okay, even if you're not like, oh no, that ain't right, and you're waiting later on, you realize or whatever, you still hear the buzzwords. That's why they call them buzzwords, because it buzzes a point in your brain to where you're like, oh, well, this is wrong. Eventually, it's going to start twisting your head. That's why you have to get mad. You have to fight back against it. You know what I mean? Mentally is what I'm talking about. You got to push back against it.
And just figure this thing out. This is not sustainable.
It doesn't matter.
Just figure this thing out. I'm so sorry, guys. I could do this all day, but just figure this thing out. Figure out what? That you all want us, that you're demanding that ICE leaves your state so they cannot follow up on the fraud. Let me think for a second. Fuck you. No. ICE is not going nowhere, guys. There is no version of this where you are not going to face charges for your crime, for your treason, okay? It's never going to happen. Stop it. Even if all the American people are against it, it's still going to happen, because guess what? That's federal law. And if law enforcement is not maintained, then it collapses, okay?
At this point, because people are outraged already, well, shouldn't it matter if people are outraged over lies? After all, if your side of the aisle is going to constantly scream to the world that ICE is just shooting random American citizens for no reason and it wasn't self-defense, and it turns out actually it was, and the American citizens are the ones who provoked the situation. Like that's not a relevant detail, right? Let's burn down the city anyway. By the way, you as the police, let's surrender the city anyway based on a false pretense, right? Seems a little strange, does it not? Hey, and what's even the wider narrative here? ICE are kidnapping people, they're disappearing people, they're deporting U.S. citizens, people with legal status, and that's not actually what's happening, right?
Yeah, buzzwords, like I said, guys. Remember that. Keep that in the back of your mind. Buzzwords. Everything that he's talking about right now, that's all in the Communist Manifesto, like, and the way to wage a color revolution and a turn the people. I mean, I believe they did something similar to Iran, so just saying. And Iran used to be a great nation before, the Islamic Party took it over.
They abducted and detained some 5-year-old child. Like, it should matter if we're actually living in a good faith country, and the type of country that is worthy of having a democratic system, right? Our constitutional republic. Then yeah, it actually should matter.
Yeah, our forefathers, by the way, didn't want us to have a democracy. That's why they made it a republic. Because sadly, democracy is very close. There's a lot of holes in it, and it's very close to communism, these social programs. I'm grateful that we have it in this country, and we've kind of like molded our country to be what it is, okay? I think we need to go back further to the right, get back to sanity, obviously. Like laws need to be enforced as laws are written and all that stuff. And, Congress should be looked into. There's a ton of things that I could go into and I'm not going to right now. But first of all, we need to all agree on one thing, that we're all Americans and that we all stand for America, in which case we need to stand against these Demonrats. I mean, look, they are our enemies, okay? Period. They want us dead. I mean, we've seen it. They've killed so many of our side. It's just insane to me that these people are upset because of 3 people dying with all the people that they've killed on. You never hear them talking about that, huh? But then later on, our own guys, it's both sides. No, it's not. It's nothing like that. It's nothing even statistically, it's nothing like that. Sanity-wise, it's nothing like that. Stop saying that. Jesus, just knock it off. Sorry. Again, I'm just really fired up. The video's almost over, and then I'm going to cut this and put it out. And I am upset. I'm mad, okay? I'm trying to keep the level down, but I am angry. A lot of these points need to be made though, I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of them being made and being talked about. Like the fact that this guy, again, he had a weapon when he went to a protest. It doesn't, he didn't have the legal right to do that by Minnesota's own law. So already he had broken the law. He had opened himself up to being shot. It always goes the same way. And these people tried to grab the moment. And remember, midterms is right around the corner. They want to get you people, they want to get everybody like worn out so they're not paying attention. I hear so many people saying that too now. Like, oh, I can't, I'm just fatigued. Look, I get it, bro. That's their tactic. You know what I mean? You're not helping anybody. You're a victim of what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you worn out so you don't fight. So you don't stand up, so you give up and you walk away. And when you do that, you're giving up on your family, your loved ones, your country, because we have nowhere we can retreat to, for one thing. Nowhere. Okay?
If what we're talking about like actually happened, right? It should matter if people are acting on the pretense of truth, or at least what they believe to be true, right? At the very least, what they believe to be true. So what you're admitting here now, right, is these people don't care, even in terms of like propaganda, even in terms of what they just think, even if they're misled, right? They don't even necessarily think that is true. They're just going to go burn down Minnesota anyway and paint themselves as the good guys anyway, because hey, ICE shot someone and we basically admitted that we're lying about it, right? No, you guys just admitted all the outrage, all the virtue signaling, but also all the violence you're committing, justifying it, saying there's a fascist takeover of America. It should matter to normal people whether the pretense of all of it is actually true, you know? But of course, it doesn't matter to leftists. We knew that already, right? They don't actually care about details. That's why the moment they hear a headline, they go storm the streets. But if they want to defend themselves, saying no, actually we fact check, we fight misinformation. We're the side that does. Oh wait, here's your one of your left wing heroes actually just saying no. Either way, doesn't matter what the details are. We're going to be domestic terrorists anyway. So. It's almost like that's exactly who you are. Civilizational arson was always your intended goal, and you basically just find whatever excuse you can to go out and try to provoke communist revolution in the streets. Doesn't matter if it's true, whatever gets people riled up, apparently. And there you have, I guess, a great summary of the political left. A bunch of people who have spent not just recent American history, but frankly, a lot of world history, just starting wars like this based on fundamental lies. So that's how it goes. Anyways, that said, guys, let me know your thoughts. Be sure.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. That's why I wanted to do a video on this, like giving my thoughts to it, really, because he's right. They're winning. I mean, every time somebody gets spineless and I don't know, tries to admit that they're wrong or something, you're not helping anybody. You're not helping us. You're not helping America. You're not helping Americans. You're not on our side. You know what I mean? And then, oh, well, they're fence sitters, so they're not on one side. No. God, they're just benefiting off of it. A lot of these people put up headlines. They were really quick to do it. They didn't know the situation. They didn't care. They just wanted to make money. I don't want any of that. I don't. I just want us to stand up and fight back. And if that, I mean, legally, but mainly to identify these people for what they are. Okay? They're traitors. They're committing treason. And Trump, if you ever, I don't assume that he'll ever see this, but if you ever do, I mean, bro, enforce the treason laws. Who cares if some people got offended because you said it's a death penalty? That is what it is. You didn't lie to them. That is a penalty for treason. It's death. So, we need to follow the laws. We need to enforce them as they are.